You ever have one of those mornings where your coffee barely hits your lips before you realize something big's about to go sideways? That was me. 7 a.m. sharp, watching three bright yellow bulldozers roll up to my gate like they were leading a parade nobody wanted except the HOA president, who called it landscape renovation. Now I knew right then these folks had no clue what they were about to set off, and honestly, I almost felt bad almost. See, underneath that dirt wasn't just roots and rocks, it was a power system wired so deep into this land that if you messed with it, you weren't just shutting me down, you were pulling the plug on the whole neighborhood, maybe even the whole HOA's illusion of control. Now, let me back up a sec. Name's Ezra Thornfield, ex-Tesla engineer, accidental inheritor of my granddad's Lakefront ranch out here in Clearwater. He passed about 6 months ago and left me 40 acres, a box of old land deeds, and the sneakiest secret this county's ever seen. Grandpa always said this land feeds the whole community. Someday you'll get it. Didn't really click until I saw those Caterpillar D6s rolling through the mist engines, roaring birds scattering, and the lead driver Diego Martinez looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. They told me to block the gate for a landscape project, he said, apologetic as a kid caught stealing cookies. Is there another way in? I just shook my head, coffee in hand, and told him, "You're on private land, my friend." Didn't take long for the real ringleader to show up. Out steps Vivian Blackthorne, HOA president, all drama platinum, Bob Chanel suit, sunglasses bigger than her ego. She's flanked by her sister Cordelia, live streaming the whole circus for her followers. We're transforming this rustic entrance into a water feature, Mr. Thornfield. It'll raise everyone's property values. I had to laugh. Rustic was her way of saying my family's ranch looked out of place next to her Pinterest board dreams. So I pulled out Grandpa's old manila folder, deed surveys, utility easements, the works. I laid it out plain. You're standing on private property. This isn't your HOA's business, Vivian. She just waved her hand, all smiles and dismissal. Property lines are fluid. Ezra, especially for the greater good. Meanwhile, Cordelia's narrating for her stream saying, "See? This is why you need strong leaders. Some people just don't get the bigger picture." Except she accidentally captures Vivian whispering that once they control my land property, values will jump 40% minimum. Yeah, that hot mic moment blew up the stream, and suddenly the comments aren't so friendly anymore. Here's where it gets electric, literally. Those bulldozers start digging and Diego hits something metallic. Sparks fly, industrial fireworks. Diego bails off his machine, arms up, yelling, "Nope, I'm out." This is electrical, 20 years in construction, and the man's never seen a project with this many red flags. Vivian, undeterred, clicks over in her designer heels, shouting, "Keep digging." It's just old irrigation pipes. Cordelia's still live audience, climbing past 500, then 2,000, then 15,000. Everyone's got an opinion, especially the engineers who are typing in all caps about live voltage and RIP to whoever's footing the bill. Thing is, what nobody gets, what Grandpa built was an entire underground hybrid grid. Solar panels, wind turbines, and the heart of it all, transformer T47 directly under those bulldozers. 85% of Golden Meadows power quietly supplied by us for years while folks thought their juice came from the city. That morning when Diego hit that transformer, he nearly fried half the county. I called Marcus Reed, the city's electrical boss, told him we had a code yellow transformer at risk. He's there in minutes, convoy and sirens, and when he sees Vivian, he loses his mind. "Lady, you have any idea what you just did?" By then, residents start showing up. There's James Chin, retired engineer, who always doubted the HOA. Maria, Diego's wife, realizing her husband was nearly electrocuted. Even Todd Harrison, the HOA treasurer, looking pale as drywall. Cordelia's stream is blowing up local hashtags, trending, lawyers chiming in about criminal property damage. Vivian tries to control the narrative posts on the HOA Facebook group that I'm threatening to cut the power, calls it extortion, tries to rally everyone to City Hall. But James posts receipts, footage, diagrams, lays it out for the world. The split's obvious. Some still back Vivian, thinking of property values, but the rest, they know a power grab when they see one. Vivian desperate calls her lawyer Richard Greystone wants an injunction, calls me a monopolist. Richard takes one look at the footage, and Bales says she's trespassing, damaging infrastructure. No lawyer's going down with that ship. I just put up a calm YouTube video diagrams and all laid out how the system works, how the HOA's about to black out their own homes. Next morning, even the mayor's calling asking why I'm threatening 200 families over landscaping. I tell her straight, no threats, just a trespassing, a ruined transformer, and no permits. That gets her attention. By 9, the city inspector's at my gate. Vivian tries to parade her paperwork, except Todd Harrison's MIA, and the permits are as fake as her water feature story. Then comes the press, Katie Morrison, local reporter with a nose for scandal. She's got engineers reviewing my video, finds out I've been charging the HOA less than market rate for 3 years as a goodwill gesture. Vivian panics, holds a press conference right there at the wrecked transformer, screaming about being held hostage, while Cordelia behind her accidentally live streams the real contract for the whole world to see. That's when things tip back up, transformers start overheating. Marcus orders an evacuation, streetlights flicker, AC units stutter, and the mayor herself shows up demanding to see permits. Vivian finally snaps, rants about bureaucracy, gets slapped with stop work orders for public endangerment. Residents panic, one woman's on medical equipment, Diego's worried about his kids, and suddenly nobody's backing the HOA president but herself. That's when the real twist lands. Todd Harrison spotted in his car, frantically calling someone, not Vivian. Turns out the whole landscape plan was a smokescreen. The developer Pinnacle had a deal to grab the land and needed me out the power grid in their name. Todd was the inside man, filing fake complaints, stalling contracts, feeding the narrative. Cordelia, shaken, confides that Pinnacle was buying off local leaders, promising Vivian a fat payday for handing over the land. Now, as the transformer edges toward failure, Diego finally snaps. He's moving the bulldozer himself. "Sue me from the Dark Lady," he says, and just like that, repair crews rush in Cordelia's audience, tops 120,000, and you can feel the tide turning. By 8:15, power's back, the crowd's cheering, and Vivian's isolated mumbling about conspiracies, while Cordelia privately hands me a banker's box full of evidence, bank statements, fake reports, texts planning my downfall. Before we can process that, the sheriff shows up, warrant in hand, arresting Vivian for fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. Her sister's live stream, now a national event. Police cars, evidence bags, the works. Todd tries to run, gets nabbed by feds. Turns out Pinnacle's already under investigation for land scams in 6 states. And Vivian just gave them the missing piece. The next morning, the HOA holds a real election. Diego's voted president, James Chen's treasurer, Cordelia turns whistleblower. My punishment. 10-year contract, heartfelt apology, and a new project, this time the decorative fountains built by the community on their terms, using recycled parts from Vivian's wrecked Bentley. 2 months later, we're in the news for all the right reasons. Renewable energy, community discounts, transparency, real pride. 1 year on. I'm back on the porch, same coffee, same sunrise, but now I see families laughing by that fountain. Solar panels shining, electric cars humming, and not a single bulldozer in sight. Cordelia drops by with cookies, tells me she's consulting HOAs on how not to self-destruct. Diego's the maintenance director, and James reports our energy savings are up, carbon footprint down. Grandpa would have been proud. Here's what I learned. Real community isn't about threats or control. It's about honest work, shared goals, and knowing when to let the lights go out so folks finally see what's been hidden in the dark. So you ever find yourself up against a bully with a bulldozer and a fake smile? Just remember, sometimes the most powerful move is letting people see who really keeps the lights on. What would you do if your HOA tried a stunt like this? Drop your story or your take below. I guarantee there's more power in community than in any utility grid.